Hey guys, it is Philip from PR Moves back again with another video. We got a draft grades for the NFC North going down right now. As you can see, we got the Detroit Lions up right away. I do want to thank all of you for the amazing support on a few of my videos recently. Both the Tevin Jenkins and Justin Fields reactions have done really well, and the Jordan Love video has also done really well with the Aaron Rodgers news that's come out. So I really appreciate all of you who have put the time into watching your videos. As they say, time is money. So the fact that you're spending your time on my videos, I really appreciate that, and I'll be sure to keep getting out content for you guys, including these draft breakdowns, which over the next week, I'm going to try to get all 8 divisions out in time. So let's jump right into it right away, and jumping right into it means we start off with the Detroit Lions. They picked first in the division, and they started off with Penei Sewell. Sewell was my third best player in the draft, and they got him at 7. I think that was just beautiful how the board fell to them. And we kind of have to thank every single team ahead of us for getting Justin Fields, because I'm say they took Devontae Smith here. There's no way that anybody else trades to let the Bears get up for Justin Fields. So Penei Sewell is an A+. With their second round pick, they took Levi Onwuzurike. I don't think the defensive tackles in this draft are very good. You're not going to see me give many of them super high grades. Onwuzurike is pretty solid, though, and I will give him the credit he deserves. He's a really good defensive tackle. He went in his interview and was like, I want to bite the knee, but he fits Dan Campbell's vision perfectly. Alim McNeill, another really solid defensive tackle. I don't think they needed 2 defensive tackles. But they're clearly going for a vision of like a heavy build in the trenches, so I do appreciate that. One of the better corners, Ifeatu Melifonwu, was my 5th ranked corner. They got him late in the 3rd round, so that was a really nice pick by them. Probably their second best pick, Amon-Ra St. Brown, pairing him with Quintez Cephus and getting another solid receiver in free agency. It actually will build a receiver core that is pretty underrated for being a bunch of young receivers. I didn't really like the Derek Barnes pick. Not necessarily a bad player, but doesn't really fit the scheme of Detroit overall that much. And then Jermar Jefferson, I don't really think they needed a running back. Yeah, Kerryon and DeAndre Swift. Those are kind of bruisers already. So Jermar Jefferson, not a bad pick, but definitely not one that wows me. Overall, I think the Lions are a B+. They did a really good job getting out their message of we're going to bite them in the kneecaps, which is what Dan Campbell said, and building with a running back, 3 guys in the front 7, and the best offensive tackle and one of the most physical corners is a way to do that. So the Lions overall get a B+, pretty above average draft. Oh my. Woo! Let's talk about the winners of the draft here. Very close to an A+ perfect draft. I don't think almost anyone had a perfect draft, but Bears were probably the closest. Justin Fields and Tevin Jenkins, let's first of all say, I'll put these pictures up on the screen. I was going to make a video that was 5 players I want the Bears to draft at pick 20, or in the first round. Number 2 was Tevin Jenkins, and number 1 was Justin Fields. That is literally this is perfect scenario. Like, I had Tevin Jenkins as the 16th best player in the class. We got him at 39. Justin Fields I had as the 5th best player in the class. And wait, no. I had Lawrence, Pitts, Sewell, Chase, Fields. Yeah, Fields. 5th best player in the class. Got him at 11. So the Bears made out with those first 2 draft picks. And then they had a bunch of late round picks. So what did they do with them? Larry Botom. Best pressure rate allowed out of any tackle in FBS. He was incredible when he was in pass protection. Needs a little work on like his upper body strength, I've heard, and he also needs to focus a little bit on his run blocking. But besides that, really solid pick for a 5th round player. We got him where he was projected to go. And then Khalil Herbert. Well, we don't really need a running back. He's gonna go in, and this is the reason he's not a higher player, because on my underrated running backs list, Khalil Herbert was number 3. If you want to go and might pull up that graphic as well. But Herbert, we didn't really need a running back, and that's why it's a B+. He won't really play. I'm going to take off points for players that won't play. And Herbert won't really play outside of being a special teamer. So it's a good pick. I didn't think it was one of huge need. Daz Newsome and Thomas Graham, absolute steals. Newsome is one of the best pure slot receivers in the draft. Getting him that late in the 6th round was absolutely incredible. He'll compete with Anthony Miller and Riley Ridley for that 3 spot. And then Thomas Graham, I had him as corner 10, and we got him in the 6th round. We were getting to this final 6th round pick, and it was Israel Makuamu, who went to Dallas, the pick before us, and then Thomas Graham. And I was like, get one of those two, and it would be an A+. Thomas Graham, excellent corner. Really happy we got him. He'll compete immediately with Kindle Vildor for that starting slot role. And then Chris Tonga, we didn't really need nose tackle, and I like Chris Tonga's big physical abilities, so that's going to be a B-. Overall, the Bears get an A. What a draft for Chicago, man. This is honestly the best draft Chicago's had in my lifetime. I thought last year's draft was pretty good. I mean, you had Komet, Mooney, Jalen Johnson. You had some ballers, Kindle Vildor, in that last draft class. And that was without a first-round pick. And this is kind of if Fields pans out, he's going to be the best first-round pick Ryan Pace has ever made. So Fields and Tevin Jenkins alone make this an A. Even if every other pick was like a C, I would still give this an A. Just Fields and Tevin Jenkins knocked it out of the park. Those first 2 picks are the most important, and they hit perfectly. One of the most underrated drafts, also one of my favorite, is the Minnesota Vikings. I was talking with a lot of Vikings fans on Twitter, and they thought they had the best draft. I don't think they had the best draft. I do think they had one of the more underrated ones. Let's start off with Darrisaw. First of all, you traded back. You got the 3rd best offensive tackle after trading back. That's a huge W. The fact that the offensive tackles fell the way they did was like kind of outstanding. And that was a great pick. And then you got Kellen Mond. And here's the highlights I'm going to show for this. Mond was always, to me, QB6. I think in some years he would have been considered, like if you put him in last year's draft class, he probably would have been with Jordan Love in terms of draftability. And I've always liked Kellen Mond. I do think he's going to have to work on his accuracy, but in 2 years, they do give the offense over to Kellen Mond, and you still have Adam Thielen, Justin Jefferson, Amir Smith-Marset, who they drafted here, Dalvin Cook, and a top 5 offensive line, which they kind of set up with these early picks. Kellen Mond should be perfectly set to be a good quarterback. Chaz Surratt, one of the great picks. You don't really know the future of Anthony Barr. I don't believe you do. And I think that's good that they went out and they established another linebacker that they can use. Wyatt Davis, what a pick. Getting him in the late 3rd. I really wanted the Bears to get Wyatt Davis at some point because I've always really liked him. But going to the Vikings, that's a good situation for him. And Davis and Darrisaw could really hold down. That line right there. Patrick Jones, not a bad pick by any sense of the word. I just liked their other options a little bit better. I think they could have moved up a little bit to get Ronnie Perkins, etc. Kene Nwangwu, if I'm saying that wrong, please correct me down in the comments. I don't entirely hate the pick. I don't think getting depth is ever a bad thing, but you should have gotten depth at a better position, probably. Cameron Bynum, again, I think there were better corners available. I think Thomas Graham, who we got in the 6th, is a better overall player than Cameron Bynum. I had Graham over Bynum in my rankings. So, and then Janarius Robinson, again, defensive line depth is a need for you guys. You kind of just picked a guy that was on my not my guys list. So, but then you get to this end here, Amir Smith-Marset, one of the most underrated wide receivers in this draft. He has the potential to be like the Darnell Mooney of this class. Like, he is super good. I thought the Bears were going to pick him if they had the chance to. And then Zach Davidson, you do need a backup tight end. I'm not a fan of taking tight ends in the draft almost at all, and I don't think this tight end class was very good outside of Kyle Pitts. So Davidson, solid pick. It's an average pick, that's why it's a C. And then Jalen Twyman, an A. Loved Jalen Twyman. He was my 5th-ranked defensive tackle. You got him really late. That's really good. Overall, those first 4 picks were first 5, really. Jones was a pretty good pick. Were so good. And then Marset was a really good pick. Robinson was solid. Jalen Twyman, really good pick. It's going to get them an A-. I do think the running back, Nwangwu. Bynum wasn't the best corner available. Maybe for your scheme he was. But I would have to look more into that. And then Zach Davidson, not a fan of taking tight ends. But overall, A- for the Minnesota Vikings. Really, really, really good job by them. And then we got our final team. The losers. Again, they managed to be the losers 2 years in a row. With all the drama that's been surrounding this team, I really was surprised with how solid of a draft they had. And they got a B- overall. Like I'm not spoiling that for anyone. But this is still overall, they got some really good depth. It's just their first 2 picks were so mediocre to bad that I kind of don't care that their later picks were so good. Like I said when I was talking about the Bears, those first 2 picks, and with the Vikings, those first 2 or 3 picks are the most important ones because they're going to be the ones that make the most impact immediately. That's why Jordan Love last year was such a problem, is because he's not going to make an impact right away. That's why some people graded it badly, even though actually picking a backup quarterback as a 13-3 team is not usually the worst thing in the world. Stokes is a solid pick. I get that you guys needed corner, but I do think there were better corners available. Asante Samuel, his own teammate Tyson Campbell. I like Ifeatu Melifonwu more than Eric Stokes. I think Stokes was corner 6 for me. So, no, it was Surtain, then Horn, then Farley, then Newsome, then Campbell, then Melifonwu, then it was Eric Stokes. So he was corner 7, and you had 3 of those other guys out of him. So Stokes, not a bad pick. He's a physical beast. I think he can develop well. But again, you didn't really want to pick a developmental guy. You wanted to pick a guy that's going to impact your team right away. Because if Rodgers is gone or if this is his last year. And then Josh Myers, that's just a trash pick. That might be one of the worst picks in the entire draft. Here's why. Creed Humphreys is a better player, was picked afterwards. Wyatt Davis, better player, was picked afterwards. Ben Cleveland, better player, was picked afterwards. Trey Smith, I had ranked over Josh Myers, was picked afterwards. And he was in the 6th round. So, Josh Myers is literally sand. He gets pushed at this little bit of resistance. The only reason it's not an F is because center was a position of need for you guys. Amari Rodgers, good pick. Needed a solid slot receiver. I don't know what Devin Funchess' status is on the roster. I actually don't think your wide receivers were the biggest need on your team. I did think defensive back was a little bit more of a need, linebacker as well. But Rodgers is a good pick. At least you'll have an A. Rodgers on the team next year. A-Rod. Royce Newman, that's an average pick. Get a good depth tackle. Teradell Slayton, not a big fan of him just in general, and that's why it's a C. Again, that's just a pretty average, below average pick. Shamar Jean-Charles, Cole Van Lanen, Isaiah McDuffie, all really good picks. Those are probably your 3 better picks of the entire draft. I might move Cole Van Lanen up to an A- now that I'm re-looking at it. But overall pretty solid there. And then Kylan Hill it's a good pick, but you're looking at your roster and you're thinking, wow, I could have had A.J. Dillon as the bruiser, Kylan Hill as the speed guy, used the money from Aaron Jones' contract to either pay Aaron Rodgers to make him happy or to pay Corey Linsley, and then Josh Myers' pick wouldn't happen, and you could pick a better player there. So it's just, I don't think the Packers had the greatest offseason in general. I do think they picked really well outside of their first 2 picks. Rodgers was a good pick. McDuffie, one of my favorite linebackers. Kylan Hill overall is a good selection. I think he was running back 9 for me, so that's pretty good. Jean-Charles was solid. Overall, fine by the Packers. Alright guys, so that concludes my NFC North draft grades. If you guys want to see a specific division up next, if you're a Chiefs fan and you want to see the AFC West, or if you're a Texans fan and you want to see the AFC South, put that in the comments down below. They'll be the first comment I get of someone's division will be the next video I do. So I'll talk to you guys all later. Again, thank you guys so much for the support on recent videos, and I'll see you guys later. Peace.
And Smith on the left side of that offensive line get great movement, and I've really been impressed by the speed of Herbert here. As you see, Ashford just takes the wrong angle based on Herbert's speed in the open field.
He was outstanding. Herbert in the backfield along with Burmeister, whose hand is apparently healed, and he's breaking away down that left side. Got a block, and out he goes for a big gain. Picked up another one and 2 interceptions to lead the way. Back to throw, and dumping that one off, a short one to Herbert, and he is off to the races across the 30. He dives for the end zone. And another big play by Herbert.
I have to say, I've been really impressed with the speed of Herbert.